Hi, Neil Kingham here, and in this very short video I want to talk briefly about why you should definitely not be using hand sanitizer products, even in the middle of a virus pandemic, unless you have no other choice. Now, a lot of people who I'm talking to at the moment, or having consultations with, are complaining of dry hands because of washing their hands all the time, as all of us are. But what I've discovered through talking to people is there's still a lot of people using the alcohol-based hand sanitizers, even at home. And I think that's a very bad idea, for various reasons. And to understand why, we need to think about what's in them, and why they work and how they work and what they work for. Now, the official advice from all the bodies, from the governments all across the globe, is the most effective thing you can do for coronavirus is to keep washing your hands in normal soap and water. And that's really important. And the reason we use normal soap and water is to do with the structure of the virus. So if we think about what the hand sanitizers, the alcohol gel-based hand sanitizers do, is they're antibacterial mainly. And of course, a virus is not a bacteria. So they have very little effect. They have some effect, but they have very little effect on viruses. And in fact, it's been shown in studies that the hand sanitizers are much less effective than just normal soap and water in dealing with nasty things like norovirus and C. diff. And the same is almost certainly the case with coronavirus. The reason is that a lot of viruses, the structure is that they have a lipid shell around them. And lipid just means oil, basically, or fat-based. So, as you know, if you get oil or grease on your hands, if you just run them under water, it's not going to get it off. If you use a hand sanitizer, it's not going to get it off either. You need soap, because soap breaks down fat. So if we have a virus with a fat shell, then we need the soap to break down that shell and destroy the virus. And so coronavirus is one of these kind of viruses with this lipid shell, and so is the normal influenza virus as well. So that's why it's more effective, but there are also reasons that we should avoid, where we can, using the alcohol-based antibacterial hand sanitizers. Now, of course, I will say at this point, if you're out and about, not that you probably are very much at the moment, but if you're going to the shop, say, and you want something to cleanse your hands, then you probably haven't got access to soap and water. So in that case, that's where they may be of some use. So you can get, a little one to carry around with you. But when you're at home, definitely, when you can control what you use, definitely no need to use the hand sanitizers. Just use normal soap and water. And your hands will thank you for it, because soap and water is much less dry. And of course, it doesn't matter also, you can use just an old-fashioned bar of soap, or the liquid soaps, of course, are fine as well. But there are other reasons to avoid antibacterial products. So for a start, antibacterial soap has never really been shown to be any more effective than normal soap, i.e. non-antibacterial. And there are various reasons why we might want to avoid antibacterial products. For a start, bacteria are not our enemies. There are bacteria everywhere. There's bacteria on your skin, in your gut, in your mouth, in the environment, everywhere. And the bacteria that live on us and in us and with us are really important. We're only really now just beginning to scratch the surface of how important they are. But our own bacteria, or the bacteria that live with us, are really important for our digestive system, also for our immunity, and even it's been shown that, for instance, the gut bacteria, the state of the gut bacteria, affects the mood and how you think. And I think there's going to be lots of other things coming out as we learn more about them. So you don't want to needlessly take antibiotics. Of course, antibiotics are life-saving medicines. I'm not totally against them, but you don't want to take them if you don't need them. And the same thing, you don't want to apply antibacterial substances to your skin, because you're destroying that protective bacterial layer that we have. unnecessarily. So we don't want to be doing that. And there's also issues around the substances used as the antibacterial agent. Now, the one that's been particularly kind of problematic is something called triclosan, and in fact in the US it's been banned, or effectively banned anyway. In the UK that's not the case, actually, and so a lot of the big manufacturers still use it, and of course what they say is they use it in such a small amount to make it safe. But the thing with triclosan is the concern is anyway, that it very closely mimics human hormones. And some people have suggested that it has a disrupting effect on our hormones, and particularly thyroid function, which is not a good thing. And even if triclosan is not used, then one has to wonder what the alternatives do if they have a similar effect. And then there's the environmental issue as well. Now, we know that there's a problem with antibiotics basically getting into the environment, into the waterways, and then from the waterways into basically everything, into all of our food and into animals, into us. And we think of that as a problem with taking antibiotic tablets, but of course the same is true if we're using an antibacterial, which is the same thing, antibiotic, bacteria killing, an antibacterial soap or gel or other product. And the same thing with the big problem and growing problem of antibacterial resistance. So the bacteria are, as you know, they're getting stronger and they're evolving to resist or be immune to our antibiotics. So I'm going to suggest that by using antibacterial washes and soaps that we're actually potentially contributing to that problem as well, not just our own health by destroying our bacteria, which is a bad thing, actually probably having a detrimental environmental effect as well. So in my house we don't have antibacterial products. I don't use antibacterial soap, we don't have antibacterial washing up liquid, and when it comes to things like, I don't know, socks or chopping boards for your kitchen with added antibacterial substances, forget it, not in my house. So there we go, that was a bit of a rant, but hopefully useful. So I'm definitely going to suggest, I'm not saying, you know, we're in this this pandemic at the moment, so I'm not saying don't wash your hands or don't cleanse your hands. If you're out and about, there is a place for the sanitising gels if you want to use them, but in your own home, give your hands a favour, do your health a favour, do the environment a favour by just using normal soap and water, which actually is going to be more effective anyway. I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to be doing a whole series of videos on all sorts of things at the moment, of course focused on immunity and the ongoing virus situation. So if you like what you see, then you can follow the link below this video to find out more. I hope you're well. Thanks for watching.